The problem with rose-colored glasses is that everything seems red, even the flags. Let's get into it. What up, y'all? I'm Christopher Markland, author of the books Desperately Seeking Exclusivity, Desperately Seeking Pleasure, with my third book, Desperately Seeking Clarity, to be released soon. I'm finalizing a few things. We're getting ready to have a pre-release, so y'all, please stay tuned. If you haven't already liked or subscribed to this channel, please make sure that you do, because I will be announcing the release of the book and how things are going to be going from there.
I'm bringing my pops, who is my stepfather that has raised me for the last 30 years, my mother, and my oldest daughter. I'm a little nervous. So I brought y'all here today so y'all can meet Joelle.
So this week, the theme of the show is where the couples or the parties in each couple are meeting the family of the people they're interested in. Y'all know I'm not a big fan of these meet the family, meet the ex, meet the friends, meet the spouse, meet the Browns, meet the Jones. I'm not a big fan of that. And I get it. I get it. It's a reality show. This is the format of the show. It adds to the drama. I get it. And of course, the best way for you to meet the family members is organically. You know, there's a party, like hell, the 4th of July is going to be coming up. You invite them to the barbecue, invite them to the cookout. That I know is the best way to do it. However, my issue with how they do it on the show is when you meet them, it's always like they're setting up a certain level of tension and animosity, if you will, or I don't know. It's just something about it. I get it. It's the reality show drama. Like I said, I'm just not a fan of these particular episodes. There are plenty other things that they can explore when it comes to relationships, new relationships that are less dramatic, but I think more helpful moving the couples forward.
Well, nice to meet you. You think you're the right man for my daughter?
Lord, you just go right on into it, huh?
And what are your intentions?
Mama! Lord!
Mama likes into me right away. Like, hold up, can I sip some wine first, you dig? You know what I'm saying?
And this right here is why I'm not a big fan of these meet the whoever type episodes. Think about it. Joelle hadn't even sat down good. The mother hadn't even finished chewing her food before she started asking Joelle different questions about, you know, how you feel about my daughter, this, that, and the third. So it's like it starts out with a certain level of intensity and everybody feels that. And you reacting kind of like, all right, if you're coming at me, I'm going to come at you. But you got to rein it back because of TV and all this other stuff. It's just certain, like I said, just the way they go at it. Just, I don't care for it.
I know my daughter beautiful.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be able to deal with that attitude?
I can honestly say, getting to know her, you know, in the process, she actually looked just as good in the inside than she doing outside. You know what I'm saying? That's what matters to me. Now, she is bossy. You can't be doing all that dealt. Because I don't ever want her to not do what she want to do.
One thing I've always liked about Joelle is that the dude seems to be authentic. He may be authentically New Orleans, you heard me, you dig, but he is still the same guy no matter what situation or scenario he may be. If you recall when the very first time they had like the gentleman's lounge or whatever, he was the one that shared, you know, emotionally, hey, I really am digging this. He was open to who he was. He's comfortable with who he is. And no matter where, whether they're in the gentleman's lounge, whether they were on the ranch, no matter, like right now, you know, meeting Venetia's parents, he is that same dude no matter what. And you got to respect a man that's authentically himself no matter where he is.
Do you think that you are ready to become the father figure for 3 more kids?
Well, you know, that's a good question. I'm going to be real with you. Walking into a ready-made family, I have no problem with that. So far, I don't see nothing wrong. Ain't nobody crazy over that.
They a little
Somebody
crazy.
Gotta be a little better.
I'm the same one.
No, I am.
Again, he's the same dude and he'll answer the question no matter who's asking. And he'll answer it honestly. Now, you know, if we can go all the way back to the whole Kyra question when Tommy asked him a question, he gave an honest answer as far as where he was and how he was feeling at the time. Now, it may have been a BS answer. I mean, shoot, we went all in as far as, you know, how he moved as far as why he chose Kyra in the first place. But the thing is, that was an honest answer. He didn't, you know, maybe. No, he's like, hey, you know what? How I'm feeling right now, I'm going to go with somebody else. That is an honest answer to the question that was asked of him at the time. You may not like the answer, but you got to respect the fact that it's an honest one.
I'm impressed. I like him.
I'm digging you too.
Man, I appreciate that, man. You heard?
I'm digging you too.
What about you, Real?
I appreciate that.
I like you. You're a very nice guy. You respect my mom. You seem like you take care of your business.
Her eyes kind of light up when she look at you, too.
Oh, yeah?
I swear, man, these two, they're on cruise control. No matter, week to week to week, they had their little ups and downs, their reality show drama, tension, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, they seem to be true to each other, and it seems to be working. Like I said, he's an honest guy. She's definitely an authentic woman. What you see is what you get with Vernisha, and you got to respect that. So it's cool to see these two, how they've come together, and what they have seems to work.
Feel free to ask him questions and,
Any question?
Yeah, Don't scare the boy the way he'll never come back. Don't do that.
You give me a green light to mash on him?
You can mash.
Again, I just do not like these meet the such and such episodes. Right here, Liz is saying, yeah, you can go ahead and mash on him. In other words, put that pressure, it's so adversarial is what I'm trying to say, that I just don't like how these particular episodes go, whether it's meet the family, meet the spouse, meet the ex. It don't matter. They're all the same. There's always a sense of, we need this drama, so I need for you to ask some tough questions or whatever. Now, I get it. If you're meeting, your sister's interest, or your son or your daughter's interest, I get it. You want to ask some tough questions. You want to, go beyond the surface to really see who is this person that my family member is interested in. I get it. You want to know, but it just seems like they I don't want to say inappropriate questions, but just the way that the questions are asked, or how things are set up. Like I said, it just seems to be a lot more adversarial than it needs to be.
So this is my brother.
Hey,
this is
Soldier.
Johnny.
Jason. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Johnny.
Meeting family is hard, because you be in a situation where best friends and family may not like you. But it was cool. I wasn't tripping.
It can be difficult because, when you meet the family members or whatever, there are times where they may or may not like you. And, it does set the tone for things later on. If you recall last season when KG was meeting Naya's, I want to say it was her cousin or her sister. I can't recall. Maybe it's just a longtime family friend. I don't remember the exact relationship. But what I do know was that when that family member, Naya's family member, was asking, for sake of argument, her sister, when Naya's sister was asking some questions, it brought out a lot of things. And as the conversation progressed, you could see there was a little bit of a dislike towards KG from Naya's sister. So yeah, it can be difficult.
Did y'all pray over already? Oh. Here, come on, here. Let's just get it real quick.
First things first. Look at it.
Pray, Jason.
Lord, bless this food. Let it be nutritious to our bodies. Bless hands were prepared. Bless hands were provided. In Jesus' name, amen. Come on.
Amen.
All right, let's get it on the way.
You already hit a 3 on us right there.
We've seen a lot of Jason to this point, right? We're on episode 12, and Jason's been featured on pretty much every episode to this point. Now, I am in no way, shape, manner, or form judging a man's spiritual walk, or, because that's a personal relationship between him and his creator, him and his God. I'm not doing that. All I'm saying is that, like I said, we've seen a lot of Jason, and right now, to me, this just feels very performative. Now, I will say he scored that 3-pointer with the family, so it worked, but
Baby, that did it. That was it. He had my family's attention at that moment when he initiated prayer. He scored some points with that one.
One thing that stands out about you is your faith.
Again, I am not judging anyone's spiritual walk. Let me put it like this. I am a real estate agent, AKA a real estate salesperson. I sell houses. That's how I earn part of my living, right? One of the first things that I have to do is establish rapport with either my client or the buyer, because I need to know who they are. They need to be comfortable with me because I am their agent. Literally, I am acting on their behalf. So if a buyer walks in, if I'm on site, for instance, a buyer walks in, the first thing for me to do to build rapport is I have to have something in common with that buyer. And I'm pretty good at it. And I am a well-traveled guy. I mean, I've done a few things, been a few places. So there isn't really much that I can't talk about, or more importantly, I can't relate, to that potential buyer, to that customer, to that person walking through the door. It's an important thing, and one of the best ways to build that rapport is to have something in common with them, especially in this case, being a God-fearing Christian man.
So what's your favorite scripture?
Matthew 13, sow the seeds, and Psalms 27. I like reading that. One is talking about, God being with you, and the other one is being fruitful and, planting your seeds and,
So you're for real, for real.
Yeah.
Y'all, I don't claim to be the biggest Christian out there, the most devout, most spiritual Christian, but I do live my life by certain biblical principles. The main one being Proverbs chapter 30, verse 1. Now, speaking of scriptures, let's talk about the book of Matthew, which is what Jason just referenced. But there's another scripture in Matthew, is chapter 7, verse 16. You will know them by their fruits. Now, most devout, even the spiritual Christians, the people who live their life by the word, they, whatever they have inside, who they are based on how they carry themselves. They are Christians, right? It's on the outside, which means that people on the outside know who they are. Now, I get it. Jason just met Liz's family. They don't know him from Adam, so they obviously don't know him. However, the people that do know Jason, if he is the Christian and that's how he leads, they would know him because they are closest to him, right?
Liz, I feel like she's a
Stiff.
yeah, sitting by her, like I can feel the Lord's presence. Like I don't
Bro.
You silly.
Like I said, your friends, especially your closest friends, would know who you are and damn sure would know about your walk with God and how you, move when it comes to that, because that's how you carry yourself. I mean, they would see you pray over the food. They would know that you are a Christian man. So therefore, if you bring a true, devout Christian woman around them, it wouldn't be shocking, or it wouldn't be like, ooh, I can feel it. And don't get me wrong. Christians got a sense of humor too. I'm not saying that everybody walks around, I'm not saying none of that. I'm by no means. You're human. You're going to have a damn sense of humor. That's fine. I get it. What I am trying to say is, and this goes back to the word that I used earlier, performative. If Jason carried himself all like that all the time, his closest friends would definitely know it. And those of us who've been watching the show, specifically this season, all the way up to episode 12, would be like, okay, that's just typical Jason. But instead, for me, y'all let me know if you agree in the comment section. For me personally, it just seems to be jarring and, like I said, performative.
That's like the number one important thing for me. A man that really knows God, and I see that in him.
I know that you're very much interested in Liz.
Absolutely.
Are you secure in this woman?
Yes, she showed me everything that I needed to see.
At the end of the day, regardless of anything that we see, how we're watching on TV or what our opinions are, how we feel about it, Liz is happy. She's found a man that makes her happy. And right now, everything in her world is rosy, red or white, it doesn't matter. Everything is rosy to her. And for that, I'm happy. That's exactly what you want. You want to be happy. You want to find love. And hopefully it definitely works out for her.
It's going down. So my question is, 31 years old.
Yeah.
Head on your shoulder. Very beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Why ain't nobody wrapped you up yet?
Oh, the question is, why haven't I allowed them to?
Or do you have a character flaw that we need to discuss that Chris might not know about?
A character flaw. A trait that would make an otherwise attractive woman not seem that likable. Now, what kind of character flaw, for lack of a better word, would make a man or give a man pause to approach her because she just doesn't seem to be someone that they would want to pursue something with? I mean, help me out. What do you think it would be?
I'm an alpha woman. I'm more logical than emotional. And men are used to women expressing themselves in an emotional way. And if I don't express myself in that way, they feel like I'm not interested or I don't care about them. So I need that confidence. I need a man that's sure about himself. So what is your flaw in the relationship?
Maybe personality flaw, personality quirk, trait, whatever the case may be. That might be a bit strong, but at the end of the day, that alpha woman thing is not necessarily something that most men want to have in their lives. Think about, we're talking about dominant, we're talking about submissive. If a man is supposed to lead, it's hard for two people to lead at the same time. You know, you're gonna start butting heads. So that's Amber's personality. It is who she is. I mean, it's part of her. You know, it makes her the woman that she is, as far as her being a DA, you know, an attorney, that kind of thing. However, it's not, as I said, it's not necessarily something or a trait that most men want to have in their women all the damn time. It's just the reality of men and women and what we look for.
I don't want to break up the happy moment. I love your answer.
Mm-hmm.
But on last season, somebody gave that same game, and at the end of it, they left Chris by the wayside, crumbled my man's heart. So how genuine is what you're saying and how you feel about my brother?
Speaking of genuine dudes, KG is definitely one of those men, right? He puts it all out there. He wears his love on his sleeve. He is all in when he's attracted to a woman and feels that attraction is mutual. So, you know, you definitely understand where his brother is coming from, because that's what happened with him and Naya last season. And at the end of the day, KG was left, you know, heartbroken in the mud somewhere. And, you know, that's what kind of brings up those two issues, or these two issues for me. The first is, did he heal from that? Because not only was he emotionally broken, but he was also publicly embarrassed. And that is a lot for a man to deal with. So if he hasn't taken the time to go get therapy, to heal himself, to move on, to be able to, you know, not just ignore what happened, because at the end of the day, you have to, it happened. It's a part of life, and therefore you have to, you know, deal with it. It's not a matter of just trying to put it behind you and forget about it. No, you have to emotionally deal with it. And Lord knows it happened maybe a year ago, if that much. So has he, you know, healed himself? Has he went and did the work in order to be able to move past that? That's one. And the second thing is, Amber is not Naya. So she shouldn't be held to task for what Naya did. And that goes back, touches a little bit on the first point, which is, if you've moved on, you're not going to make sure that you're not going to try and hold the new person in your life, you know, accountable for the wrongs that your previous relationship, love, or whatever did. That's part of being able to move on. We saw the same thing with David, the same characteristics with David, in that now, because he was hurt in the past, because he was wronged or he perceived to be wronged in the past. So now what he's trying to do is to control the people in his life to make sure, or his current love interest, to make sure that he's not hurt again. You cannot, in KG and Amber's case, you cannot have it on either side. Amber is not Naya, and this situation is not that situation. So I get what his brothers are trying to say. However, once again, you cannot hold Amber accountable, or to make sure she doesn't act like somebody that she doesn't even know.
I know it's a big deal for me to meet Kyra's mom. Her mom is very influential on how she communicates, and hopefully we hit it off, because if me and her mom don't get along, I don't know if we could possibly be together.
So where should we sit so you can intimidate him the most? No.
So AJ is meeting Kyra's mother and one of Kyra's best friends. This also is another issue when it comes to backtracking, and one of the reasons why it rarely, if ever, works. Not only are you trying to backtrack with the person that you ended things with, or ended things with you, but you're also now having to fight against the image of you that their friends have. Because if something happens, we're going to sit there and chop it up with our people, be like, yo, can you believe what such and such did and how they affected me? So now such and such, in this case Kyra's one of Kyra's best friends, also has an image of you and has influence on her, because it's like, girl, you sure you want to go back and do that? You sure you want to do that? Oh my boy, you sure you want to kick it with old girl, because you know last time she did this to you? Those things are also in the mix. So it's not just a matter of, man, I got a second chance at love. No, you have her friends or his friends that are also have influence, hold sway over how that person moves.
Let me ask you this. Say, for instance, you and Kyra get together.
Sure.
What would your next step be with her? What would that look like?
To be honest, I don't know. Right now in this moment, I don't.
Okay.
The more I watch and observe AJ and his desire to be with Kyra, it strikes me more of a man that wants the prize but doesn't know what to do when he gets it. In other words, the competition, the battle, the journey to get there, and then once you arrive at the top of the mountain, you just look around like, all right, now what? And that's how it seems. It's a path of redemption for him is how it comes across to me. Of, all right, in the past I messed up for whatever reason. Things between me and her didn't work out. I know I did certain things wrong, so things didn't necessarily end in us having a relationship and then breaking up. Instead, things ended before it even got started. And I wonder what would have happened if we got started. But that's not necessarily the best situation for him. Instead of it being, you know what, damn, she's a cool woman. If I had done this, if I had done that, then we may have this outcome. Now that I've learned that, let me move forward and use the lessons learned in my current situation. But instead it's, all right, let me try it all over again and hit the rewind switch. That doesn't work. And that is how AJ comes across with his pursuit of Amber. Not necessarily that he wants to build something long term with her, more he wants to fix the mistakes that he made in the past.
My mom is over here giving the go, and my sister's like, wait a second. She's definitely shedding light on what I already feel, which is, do AJ and I truly know each other well enough to make that commitment to each other? And it's really just leaving me still in a state of confusion.
Going off of what I just said, Kyra's guard is up so high that I don't think she would ever be able to embrace AJ. And quite honestly, as high as it is, I don't even think she'd ever be able to embrace anybody. But that's a different story. From what I can see with Kyra and AJ, because of what happened in the past, she doesn't trust him. She doesn't trust him enough for her to just, what do they call it, a trust fall, where you just fall back and just know that person's going to catch you. She doesn't trust him. And if she doesn't trust him, her guard is always going to be up, and she's not going to be open to letting herself be available to seriously and long-term pursue something with him.
I brought y'all here. So I've been dating this guy. Not I, bro.
What she just said kind of triggered something in me. At what point do you tell your friends and family about your new love? Y'all let me know in the comment section. Do you wait a month, 2 months, 6 months after the ring? I mean, when do you let them know that, hey, I am seeing somebody? Now, I'm not saying, damn, you go out on the first date and after that you change your Facebook status to interrelate. I'm not saying all that. I'm just asking, when do you decide to say, hey, you know what, let me put it out there that, hey, I am seeing somebody, or, and things are getting serious. How long do you normally wait?
I really want y'all to ask questions. I want to see if he can handle a little pressure. Do how you do.
Like how we do?
How y'all do. I'm nervous because I never hardly bring anyone to meet my family. But I believe they will put that pressure on Chris that I need to see how can he handle this.
Again, it's not coming from the standpoint of, you know what, okay, this is your new love interest, whatever. Let's get to know them. Let's see why you like them. And let's also at the same time make sure, see if we can like him, but also make sure that, why he likes you or the reasons are good. I get it. But instead, it's so adversarial. It's like, all right, let's get him. And it's like, yo, what is the point? And I get it. I promise y'all, I get it. It's a reality show, and reality is another word for drama. So, there has to be drama. There has to be intensity for us to, if not, we probably wouldn't watch it. But at the same time, it's so adversarial, and that just gets on my damn nerves.
Oh, man.
How you doing?
Chris.
I'm Rashad. Nice to meet you.
I'm excited to meet Amber's family. It's a big deal to meet someone's family, because if you get to the point of meeting the family, that means that we getting serious.
Cheers to family.
A few episodes ago, I broke down how men read a room the minute that they enter it. So in this case, what you see is Amber seated at the table with two of her sisters and her brother. KG walks in, he greets Amber, who doesn't get up to greet him, who doesn't do anything. She allows him to kiss her on the cheek and gives him this little side hug. After that, KG then extends his hands to Rashad, Amber's brother, who doesn't get up to greet him. Then he goes and introduces himself to the sisters. It's kind of weird that the only person that did stand up to shake his hand was, what's her name? What was Amber's older sister. So that's kind of interesting to me. If you go back and you look at how the men were greeted previous, if you go back to Vernisha's pops and when Joel came in, first thing he did was he kissed this lady on the cheek, gave her a hug, and then she stood behind him and introduced Joel to her family. And the minute that Vernisha's pops, saw Joel, he stood up and he waited, and then he extended his hand, and they, two men standing, shook hands. Think about it. He was already sitting there with two other women, Vernisha's daughter and his wife, Pops was, and then he stood up and greeted the other man walking in the room. The same situation goes with Liz and her two sisters, and was it two sisters? Anyway, her sister and her brother Johnny. When Jason walked in, Liz stood up, greeted her dude. They exchanged, hugs and whatever. And then she brought her man over to be introduced to the group. Johnny, Liz's brother, stood up, greeted Jason. They shook hands, and then they moved on. Like I said, even though that clip that I just played was 17 seconds, for most men and fellas, if I'm off base, y'all let me know in the comment section. If you agree with me, how I read that, if it's right, you let me know. But 17 seconds, what I saw there spoke volumes to me. The main thing being Amber didn't get up and greet her dude. In fact, she allowed him to kiss her on the cheek. And the fact that Rashad, Amber's brother, didn't stand up to greet him. It's just something about that. And me as a man, I would feel that energy like, all right, I wouldn't say something isn't right. I would just know how to maneuver because of how they maneuvered upon me walking in the room.
So look, yo.
Hello.
Hey.
That's Benicia, your baby.
Hello. Hey, you're beautiful.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet y'all.
I'm BB.
BB.
BB, baby.
I'm Butter.
Butter.
That's Butter, baby.
Okay, Butter, baby. That's who you always talk about.
Speaking of greetings, that was an odd one to me. Joel went, got Vernisha, brought her in, and nobody shook hands. There wasn't no handshaking, no daps, no hugs, no nothing. He just sat down and then did I don't know, it was a different kind of introduction. Now, don't get me wrong, based on the conversation, you could tell that Vernisha was familiar with who was who based on conversations that she's had with Joel. But it wasn't like he was, while Vernisha was standing, he was like, hey, y'all, this is Vernisha. Hey, that's my niece, my sister, whoever. It wasn't any of that. It was just Vernisha came in, sat down, and then he's like, hey, that's such and such, that's such and such, and then they got to it. It was just kind of weird to me. I don't know. Maybe that was a second take. It's just weird.
So, knowing that she has a tendency to throw herself into work, how are you going to help her bring her back to that self-care?
I'm not going to allow her to work herself into a mental or nervous breakdown. Like that ain't living.
I love that.
Yeah. Every relationship has a more dominant personality and conversely a more submissive one, right? Usually, and I think that, traditional standards would dictate that the man would be the more dominant one. And of course, his lady would be the more, submissive one, right? Now, KG has always seemed to be the latter, seemed to be a little bit more submissive. And it goes all the way back to, when we looked at him and how he interacted with Naya, even though she showed her ass on the way out and how things went down between them, at the end of the day, her assessment of KG, in my opinion, was not wrong. What she said about him and him taking the reins, and also, and by doing so, giving the woman in the relationship, his lady, comfort in that he is going to be the quote unquote man, or, lead the family. What she is saying, in my opinion, is 100% right.
Because more men would be feeling competitive or jealous of her.
They're insecure and can't handle a queen goddess like this.
Okay, queen goddess.
That's all that is.
Let them know.
That's all that is.
Seriously, I really respect that.
Thank you.
It's possible for you to big up your lady and to, celebrate her and say, yo, she's just a phenomenal woman without shitting on other men in the process. Now, I get what KG's trying to do, and okay, fine. One thing I will say is this, though. We talked about this in the past, past few episodes with Liz and her ex and that whole alpha thing. An alpha man or that dominant man doesn't have to say, I'm the dominant man. Like I've always said, when a lion walks in the room, he doesn't have to say, hey, y'all, I'm lion. No, you just damn well know that's a damn lion right there, right? on the flip side, you know when a lesser man is that, because it's just the opposite, because you know it by the things that they say and how they carry themselves. It's like you listen to how they, it's like, ah, yeah, I know who that dude is. You already know, or at least I'll speak for men or speak for my damn self. Let me try that. Just when I listen to certain dudes talk, I'm like, you know what, I don't trust that dude as far as I can throw him, because just the way he's talking, nah, I'm good. It's something about it. You know an alpha dominant man just by not the things that they say, but how they carry themselves. And you know I hate to use the word lesser man by the things that they say, because their words let you know exactly who they are and how they carry themselves.
I think she like you a little bit too much. What do you think?
I think that could be possibly so.
Okay.
Considering the time that I've been knowing her.
Okay.
But I do believe in you could be Google over somebody right away, you heard me?
You know, as crazy as it sounds, it can be a negative for a woman to like you too much too soon. This kind of goes back to, I was using the analogy of that the fact that men hunt, and therefore we want to pursue our woman. We want to chase after her, if you will. And there's a game to the chase. There's a give, there's a take. And, when a woman is too accommodating too soon, it kind of brings up red flags in a man's mind, because he's like, all right, this woman she's feminine, she's attractive, she's all of these things. However, she's just throwing herself at me, or she's making it too easy, because they're not a lot of worthy women out there. I hate to use that word, but I'm just for the sake of argument, we're going to use that. There are not a lot of worthy women that are ready for the chase, right? Because those women know how to be chased. They know how to keep a man's interest, how to make sure that, she's giving him just enough to make him chase after her, until they ultimately get to that point where it's like, you know what, let's make this thing a thing, right? So if you're pursuing somebody and she's making it too easy, what happens is men be like, all right, what's going on here? Why are you giving too much too soon? It's like a lion doesn't want something that's dead. They want to chase after their prey. When they catch it, the damn heart's still beating, right? That's kind of gross. But anyway, that's how most men, I'll once again speak for myself, that's how I look at it. If I'm pursuing you and you just throwing it at me, who else you throwing it at?
I just want to see where this goes, get to know a little bit better. But before I do that, I want to get your opinion on it, because you don't know a man until you meet their mama.
Well, that's true.
I guess they cut out the part where he blessed the food. But anyway, Jason is right in that when we do learn a lot when we meet our lady's mother, right? Because it's kind of like, for my athletes out there, you know what I'm talking about. Before you play an opponent, you watch game tape to see how they handle certain situations. Like in football, you watch, okay, if they line up in this formation, then they're either going to run these series of plays, and you learn a lot of things in how to handle the situation when it comes game time. It's the same thing with the relationship with your current lady. When you look at her mother, you're looking at an older version of her. Someone who has obviously been around longer, and has the same traits, characteristics, because that woman ostensibly raised her daughter to be like her, right? So the same thing goes as far as your lady, 9 times out of 10, it wants a man that is like her father. Well, if her father obviously was attracted to her mother, that's how they came together, right? So you see how her mother interacts with her father. You see how she does certain things around the house. You just learn a lot. And from there, you can extrapolate that, you know what, if my lady acts like her mother, that's a good thing. Or you can be like, damn, she acts like her mama's like that. It's not a good thing. So you learn as far as, okay, what your lady potentially could be like down the line, and it's either stay or get the hell on based on what you see.
So, Liz.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's talk money.
Ooh, Mom, really? Okay, let's do it.
Relationships fall apart because of it.
Y'all, it may be early in the conversation between them, but she is spot on when it comes to money or finances and the effect that it can have on the relationship, right? Now, I've spoken about this previously. Remember, we talked about the 3 tenets of a relationship, which is sex, communication, and what's the third one? Finances, right? We know that money, finances is not necessarily just about the money that you bring in. You know, you're going out and getting a paycheck and bringing it back. It's not specifically about money, but it's more, speaks to more about how you handle the family's resources and whether or not your partner can trust you with those resources. It can be either be a situation where, you know, one person hoards all their money, where I got my job, you got yours, I'm gonna put it in my bank account, whereas you put it in the other bank account, you pay all the bills, so I got all this money over here, I can go do what I want to, whereas your money, because you went to pay all the damn bills, you ain't got nothing left. That's one. Or it could be a situation where both you and your partner bring money in. So you got $10 here, $10 there, it comes together, we got $20 in the pot. But one person decides that they want to go buy them an $18 hat. So now there's only $2 left. How can you trust your partner to take care of the house with the resources that we've brought together if one person is selfishly using those resources for them instead of the relationship? So it's not, like I said, it's not just about the money specifically. It's about how each partner in the relationship handles those resources. Now, I'll also say this. If Jason's mother off the bat, just sitting down meeting Liz, asks about money, then that speaks to how important that is when it comes to her, meaning Jason's mother. And if Jason's mother passed that on to Jason, taught Jason the importance of that. If you recall, Jason, after Jason met, when they did the Meet the Ex thing, one of the things that was brought up in the conversations was that Kyra was not responsible with her finances. And if you recall, if Jason said that he made his decision to be with Liz weeks ago, well, based on the timeline of the show, it was weeks ago that he had this conversation with Kyra's ex, and that may play a part as to why they are where they are right now.
Do you think you know how to lead him without him knowing he's being led?
Oh, wait.
You know, as men, we don't get it right the first time.
Did she just say the quiet part out loud? Good Lord. Y'all, I'm a very experienced husband and I'm also a real estate agent. So therefore, I have seen many times the fact that us men, we are fairly simple and we like what we like and we know what we know. But I have seen so many situations, been in so many situations where the wife comes into the house and says, you know what? I like this, I like that. How can I make sure that my husband makes the decision, the right decision to do what I want him to do, but make it, massage it so that way he thinks he's making that decision, even though he's going the way I want him to, because the wife knows that the husband ain't gonna like that, the husband ain't gonna like that, he ain't gonna like that, but the wife loves the house. At the end of the day, after it's all said and done, the husband walks in, yeah, I love the house. It's so funny that, you know, us men, we know what we like, but we love our women. So therefore, if the woman knows how to move, we're going to love and like whatever she likes, and we're going to move in the way that makes her happy, and it's going to be us that makes the decision, even though she kind of gently nudged us in that direction.
So I think we can be something together. You know, I would like to continue this journey to see where it leads as well.
Oh, just give me some sugar, you did. Give me a real
Man, pretty much from the beginning, it's been Joel and Vernisha. What I like about them is that they showcase just how simple and easy relationships can be. You know, at the end of the day, it's A plus B equals C. You know, for them it's, hey, I like you. And on the, you know, B is, you know what, that little baby right there, I like her. You heard me? I feel it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they come together and it works. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be a lot of all this other stuff. It's like, you know what? I like you. You like me. Let's get together. Let's see if we can make it work and take it from there.
I choose you too.
Thank God. Thank God she chose me.
So KG has been chosen, and I know for a fact he is a happy camper. I mean, we saw just how emotional he got as he, you know, talked about the things that he's went through, and especially what he went through with Naya. And like I said before, not only was it emotionally taxing, but it was also publicly embarrassing as well. So for him to start out the process, meet someone that seems to genuinely, like and appreciate him for who he is, and is trying to meet him where he is, and they can work something together. Like I said, I'm still a little concerned with the age, not just their age difference, but the personality intensity difference as well, as far as how much one person likes the other versus how much the other person likes the situation of being. It's not equal in my opinion, but we're only watching and observing certain things, so we're not privy to the conversations and why the connection is as solid as it is. But at the end of the day, they're together. Let's see how it works.
I don't know if right now today I can say I'm ready to commit to being your girlfriend. I don't want you to think that I'm not being sincere. I don't want you to think that I'm not taking you seriously.
So shocker of all shock, what? It seems like Kyra is not ready to love AJ. Who didn't see that coming? I mean, we all saw that coming, didn't we? I mean, come on. I get it, I've been saying it from jump that for me, it's just the backtracking aspect of it. But as the season has progressed, there's certain character traits that Kyra has that are not going to help her long term. Now I get it. It's one of those things that, maybe it'll work. Maybe she will. They'll be able to develop something as time goes on. I personally just don't see it happening.
Just because when I make that decision, I'm standing 10 toes down and we're not turning back. I just need more time to reveal to each other who we are.
That's definitely a blow.
Kyra worked for the show, but I know for a fact that the show's format didn't work for her. In other words, she's an attractive woman. She brought a lot of drama, a lot of, conversation and kept the show itself moving. But it seems like for Kyra, everything has to be perfectly aligned. The stars have to line up with Jupiter, who's ascending over to Mars Blackman, who's dunking on Jordan. It's a lot of different things that have to be in place for it to be right. I said it before that I think that Kyra is waiting on it. To be clear, it seems like Kyra is waiting on a fairy tale type situation where everything is perfect and she's head over heels and everything is right, but it's not reality. And also, speaking of reality, this particular reality show, which compresses everything and you got to make a decision, and that doesn't work for her, because she said it from jump that things have to grow, and it has to be a mutual attraction and everything has to be right. The format of this show does not work for her at all.
Decision time.
I choose you, baby. I don't need none of it.
I'm sure in the hell glad that this is what the end result was, and I would not change it for the world.
And closing it out is Liz and Jason. When a man knows, he knows, and when he wants a woman, he's going to pursue her relentlessly, and that's what happened when it comes to Liz and Jason. They seem to be happy together. I mean, they are, for all intents and purposes, working it out, so can't be mad at that. And with that, this particular season has come to an end. Season 4 is a wrap. Of course, they do have the, the reunion specials. I'm sure they're going to make it 2 episodes. They're going to be coming up in either next week or the next week after. I don't know. I'm looking forward to that. Y'all, it has been fun. This season has been interesting. I will honestly say that some of the characters were not the most likable, the most relatable, the most... I don't know. It just seemed to be different, and it seemed to be, some of the scenarios seem to be forced. It is what it's a reality show. You take it as it is, and I like what the OWN network is doing. I like what Nephew Tommy's doing. I like what Will Packer's doing with this, and I cannot wait to see what they do in the future. Y'all, thank you for joining me each and every week from week 1 to now. We still got a couple more episodes to do. I appreciate y'all's feedback. I appreciate y'all joining me when I premiere these episodes. It has been fun. Now, I'm still got a couple other things doing. I do my Markland Mondays each and every Monday. I'm going to be starting back, not this Monday coming up, 4th of July, but next week after, we are going to be live each and every week, every Monday. So make sure you join me, jump in the conversation. Let me know what you think. As always, say, Chris, you full of Or, Chris, I like what you're saying. Whatever the case may be, make sure you join the conversation. In the meantime, please be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at author Christopher Markland, and also follow me on Twitter, which is at author_Chris M. Y'all, once again, thank you so much for joining me each and every week as we've done this. Cannot wait until next season, but we got some other things popping. So if you haven't, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, y'all, stay determined.